Today is the 14th. Chapter 6, Inequalities and Absolute Value. Section 1, Solving Inequalities. Like I said, so much like solving equations, it's not even funny. It says, an inequality is a way of stating that one quantity is smaller or bigger than another. Let's analyze the actual word inequality. The prefix in. Does anybody know what that prefix in means? Not. So this means it's not an equality. Take that word equality. What's the root word of equality? Equal. So an inequality is something that's not equal. But if two things aren't equal, like 3 and 4, is 3 equal to 4? No, but since 3 and 4 are not equal, then there must be some sort of relationship between the two. What's the truth about 3 and 4? 4 is bigger than 3, or 3 is smaller. The less than and the greater than, that's what we're dealing with. That's what an inequality is, a not equal. It says an inequality is a way of stating that one quantity is smaller or bigger than another. Let's look at all the different symbols. Make sure you know how to read them. A is less than B. You've got the less than sign. A is greater than B. There's how you write greater than. Less than or equal to. Or A is at most B. Could be larger. So A is less than or equal to B. So if I put 6 is less than or equal to 6, we've talked about this before. If I put 6 is less than or equal to 6, is that a true statement? Yes. Why? Or equal to. It's less than it or it's equal to it. A is greater than or equal to B, or A is at least B. A is greater than B and less than C. This is something you've probably never seen before. I call this a sandwich. Okay. You go by the one in the middle. Here you go. A is between B and C. Let's read it a piece at a time. Let me come over here and write this. B is less than A is less than C. Take and just take part of it away. Take this away. You get B is less than A. What does that mean? It means A is bigger than B, right? So if I had a number line, and if B was over here, where would A be? To the right or to the left? To the right. It would be somewhere over here. But now take the second part of it. Read that part. So if A, you said A was somewhere to the right of B, where does that mean that C is? To the right of A. So this, B is less than A is less than C, means that A is between, look, A is between B and C. That's pretty much all it means. Does that make sense? B is less than A is less than C. A is greater than or equal to B and less than or equal to C. That's similar to the one we did before, or the last one that we did. B is less than or equal to A is less than or equal to C simply means that A is between B or C, or A could also equal B, or A might equal C as well. And the last one, an equal sign with a slash through it, what would you think that would mean? Not equal. Okay? A is not equal to B. Well, these cases up here, is A equal to B? No, so it's kind of another way of saying the exact same thing. We don't know if A is bigger, we don't know if A is smaller, but an equal sign with a slash through it just means not equal to. Example 1. Ann can spend at most $15 when she goes to the movie. She has to spend $1.25 each way for a subway ride, and a movie ticket is $7. Write an inequality that models how much Ann can spend on her refreshments and stay within her spending limit. We're starting out with a pretty tough problem. Again, Ann can spend at most $15. Let's talk about what that means. She can spend at most $15. Can she spend $16? No, at most. Could she spend $10? Sure. Okay? She can spend at most $15. So she has to spend $1.25 each way for a subway ride, and a movie ticket's $7. So it says, write an inequality that models how much Ann can spend on refreshments. Does it say anything about refreshments? What is refreshments here? That's our X. That's our unknown. Okay? She's going to spend $1.25 each way on a subway ride, $7 on a movie ticket, and X dollars on refreshments. So let's come back over here. $1.25 each way for the subway. Which will be, that's $2.50. $1.25 each way. What else is she buying? $7 ticket. There you go. Let's go ahead and add that together. That's a total of $9.50. And what else is she buying? Refreshments, and that's equal to X. So how much total is she spending there? How much total is she spending? $9.50 plus X. Be careful not to multiply. So therefore, that's how much money she's going to spend, correct? Well, the amount of money she's going to spend, well, it has to be, it says at most $15. She can't spend over it, so it has to be less than or equal to $15. Let's talk about why that's true. $9.50 on everything, movie tickets and the subway ride, X dollars on refreshments. The amount of money that she spends has to be less than or equal to $15. She can't spend over 15, right? So that's the reason we use less than or equal to 15. Any questions? Next problems. It didn't say to solve that, this reason. It says inequalities are solved the same way we solve equations, so that's kind of nice. The solution set of any equality can be graphed on a number line. Example 2, c plus 7 is less than negative 11. C plus 7 is less than negative 11. So if you know how to solve equations, that's the reason I'm doing this today. If you know how to solve an equation, inequality is easy. What variable we're trying to get by itself? C. So what are we trying to get rid of? We want to move plus 7 to this side, so it's going to become negative 7. Mark it out. You got rid of it. You now have C is less than negative 18. That's it. I do want you to be able to do this, though. Number lines. Let's see, negative 18, I'm going to put it right in the middle. What would be right to the right of negative 18? Negative 17, there's what I was going for. Negative 16, negative 19, negative 20. Let's just put some numbers on this number line. Okay, let's discuss C is less than negative 18. We've not got C is equal to negative 18 anymore. Okay, when you had C is equal to negative 18, you had one answer. Now you have an infinite number of answers. It says here C is less than negative 18. That means that C can be any number smaller than negative 18. So could C be negative 20? Sure. Could C be negative 21? Sure. It can be anything less than negative 18, so here's how we graph it. Can it be negative 18? No. So let me explain something on your test. If you put negative 18 and you circle it, I'm going to mark this wrong, because it is wrong. C is not negative 18. C is all things smaller than negative 18. So since you have C is less than, you're going to open the circle, because does it include negative 18? No. So put an open circle there. That's where we're going to start. Does it include negative 19? Does it include negative 20? It includes all things to the left of negative 18. There's how I want you to graph it. Open circle at negative 18 because it does not include it. Shade it or circle, put an arrow to your left. Okay. You would close it. H plus 8 is greater than or equal to 4. Okay, let's solve it. One step, all you got to do is move plus 8 over, mark it out, and it's going to become minus 8. You have H negative 4 on your number line. I'm going to put negative 4 in the middle. I'm going to put negative 3 and negative 2. I'm going to put negative 5 and negative 6. That's plenty of numbers. Okay, before we start putting things on our number line, again, I want you to understand why you do the things you do on your number line. Could H be 0? Why? Because H is all things greater than, which means bigger, right? H is all things bigger or, what's that line mean? Equal to negative 4. So H would be 0, that's bigger than negative 4. Could H be a million? Sure. Could H be negative million? No, because it's smaller than negative 4. Again, this means X is all things bigger than negative 4 or equal to negative 4. So can H be negative 4? Yes. Closed circle. H could be negative 4. That's the reason you close your circle. H is also all things bigger than that. So H is greater than or equal to -4. Is closed circle at -4, shaded to the right. Questions? Here's where a lot of people, which, I mean, if you know what it means, I don't know how it can confuse you about which way to graph or which way to shade and all that, but a lot of people do this. If you'll put your variable first, you see that this is kind of like an arrow? Yeah. Yeah, it kind of looks like an arrow to where that's the way you're always going to shade. Yeah, if your variable's first. If your variable's not first, it's going to give you the wrong answer. Huh? Like if you had 8 is less than x, then you're going to have to flip that around. Let's talk about that before we move on. Yeah. Well, if 8 is smaller than, this is less than, right? If 8 is smaller than x, that means that x is bigger than 8. Makes sense. So make sure you would flip your symbol around there also. Yeah. T plus 7 is greater than -3. Then we'll move on. T plus 7 is greater than -3. One step. Tommy, what do you do? And what does it become? -7. Mark it out. So T, bring down the greater than. T is greater than -10. So on our number line, -10 in the middle, -9 on the right, and -8 on the right, -11 and -12 on the left. So T is greater than -10. So if it's greater than -10, why is it open circle? Because you do not have or equal to, so therefore it's going to be an open circle. Where is things bigger than -10? To the right or to the left? So all things to the right are bigger than -10, so therefore that's what your graph's going to look like. And again, let me explain to you what you're doing when you graph this. All things that you're graphing, like -8.3 or -8.4, is that a solution? Find -8.4 somewhere right around in here. Yeah, that's an answer. Find -9.1. Is that a solution? Sure. Find -9.9. Is that a solution? Sure. Find -10.1. Is that a solution? No. Some people like to just do this. Some people actually like to shade their number line. The reason I come up above it is just to where you don't have to try to color it in. Does that make sense? Yeah, if you want to shade it, if you want to color it in, that's fine. But most of the time what I do is just come up above it and draw the arrow that way, instead of having to darken it in. That's the only reason I do that. Yeah, that's fine. Either way is fine. Let's see. Example 3. It says, write an inequality that describes the points graphed on the number line. So here we go. Here's x. Yeah, these are not bad at all. The stuff shaded is our x, is our unknown. So if all this stuff represents x, hang on a second, can x equal 2? Can x equal 3? 4? 5? So x is all things, in plain English, don't give me inequality symbols, x is all things that are bigger than 2. Starts at 2, right? All things bigger than 2 is what x is. How do you write that as an inequality? X is... Why do I not put the or equal to? Because it's not shaded in. It starts at 2, and it's all things bigger than that, but it doesn't shade 2 in. B part, this is our x's. These are all of our x's. All this stuff to the left of where? All the stuff to the left of -3 are our x's this time. So x is all things smaller than -3, correct? So we're going to write that as x is smaller than -3, or look, it's shaded in. It also could it be equal to -3. X is less than or equal to -3. Yes, yeah, I would rather the x's be first on this. Definitely. Let's see. Is that everything? Wow. Any questions?